for tonight, things to do. Anyway, just wanted to go through how I read the cards. Again, you don't all make decisions on a Monday or a Friday, so again, take it as it resonates. Some of you may find this energy a little further out, although this one is for June. You may be currently entering this energy as well, or whenever you find it, but again, this is general energy. So I'm just going to jump right in. I pre-pull the cards just for the sake of time. I don't have a lot of time, so just take it as it resonates. So Eight of Pentacles showing up here as you hard at work trying to master, learn something, that kind of thing. And again, we'll go through the clarifiers here too, but I also feel like there's something around a passion project or something that seems to be showing up here as the center focus. Now, the only major arcana I see here is the World card, which means that is a finish-up cycle. There's something very significant where all the lessons are learned, and certainly things around our manifestations are almost at fruition. So there's something very significant there. Again, I'll go through all the details. This is just the general energy. We are also small denominations, something small in terms of money that could be coming through, or a message in regards to something around corporate feel or something business oriented, certainly a long-term commitment as well, romance that could be here, but I see more along the lines of finances and more solid grounded energy versus emotions. Six of Wands, there's some kind of victory, something that puts you on the map, gives you a little bit more attention, draws attention to you, and certainly it does seem to be balancing things out, and it's certainly a good card with the Temperance. Um, so you definitely have got some protection there in this period. The Five of Swords. There may be a battle in the month of June where something that doesn't, it feels like a small little argument if it is anything at all, but it does feel like it's something that is harsh words, especially with the Libra energy out here, Gemini, Aquarius, but there's something of a challenge there that comes through sometime in the period of June. But either way, we'll get to that one. So starting out again with the Eight of Pentacles. So what I see here with this energy, again, this is a very profound transformative month for you, especially when the major energy out is the World card. That's a success card as well. So there's something here in the month of June that speaks to, it's a month of realigning. Again, your mind, your heart, your higher purpose really comes to mind, especially when it was followed up by the Magician energy. That's significant. There is something here of like a powerful orchestration of mastering something. There's recognition with it as well. And there's certainly something about you being personally sovereign, like really feeling, especially around your career, finance, self-worth, and relationships. So it really feels like a very strong, independent energy here. I feel like in this month, it's like yourself really returns to center is what I want to say there. So this is where your mind really sharpens, your heart opens up, where you once felt like you were divided, the inner and the outer didn't feel like it aligned somehow. It's like, the sacred things versus the mundane, everyday situation where that didn't feel like it lined up. It feels like it's starting to converge into something that's more whole. So there's something there about you not chasing success anymore. It's like you are becoming the kind of person that draws success to you. And that's where I feel like the big shift is this month. I feel like you are gaining some sense of mastery, again, with that Eight of Pentacles, especially with the Ace of Cups. It's like something is going to be gifted here very soon, some kind of benefit to you, something that the universe brings in for you, and it's almost here. But it's like you're honing a skill, you're focused on a craft. It's something where the recognition and the payoff for your long-term work is you're in that energy of it, and you're very, very near that. So that being culminating. So again, because we had that Magician energy that was out there, and we also had the Page of Pentacles energy, there's really strong energy around manifestation through practical strategies. So there's something here about you have both the vision and the tools, and the execution is, because this is still in the head with the Magician, but there's something here about you being in the energy of something almost completed. So again, with the Ace of Cups here as the follow-up to the Eight of Pentacles, something you've been working hard on. Hi, Devonja. Something you've been working hard on is really starting to, get ready to be launched, a project, a business, or some kind of, leadership role or mentorship role, whatever that is here. Now, we also had your energy coming out here toward the end, which was the King of Swords next to the Five of Swords. Now, the King of Swords is more the clarifier. Oh, not new cards. Actually, I have so many cards. I don't even know why. I just pick whatever, and then I just kind of roll with it when I go out and about. But I actually have a lot of cards. I should probably, like I said, start using a lot more of them. But I do like these ones. And I'm trying to find the box I had it in. This one is actually the Thelema Tarot. I actually have another version of this too that I should they're pretty, they're similar, but they are pretty cards. Thanks, Devansha. But yeah, the King of Swords. Next to, again, we had the Hierophant that was out here. And that one, I do have a hobby of collecting cards. I have an issue. Anyway, with the Hierophant coming out there, this one is really speaking to more of a professional or being more of an authority or in a teaching sort of role where there's sort of systems thinking or traditional kind of things that are coming through here. So it's really kind of stepping into a wise architecture kind of archetype. So you're someone who builds structure from insight. Um, yeah, I guess I do have, I don't know why I don't bring more of them forward. Like I say, I just get stuck in my own little rut every now and then. But we do have, and so again, when we get to the World card, this is really where there is, you know, you're leaving something stagnant behind you and you're kind of graduating into a higher level. So this is completion, this is beginning. And it's like you're almost to this space, you're almost to this level of, you know, breathing it in. Because it's where all the lessons are culminating. And again, something that you've manifested or you're manifesting is almost to a level of completion. You're almost in that energy of it here. The Temperance card, like I said, that's still in around that same energy next to the Six of Wands, which was the main card out here. This is really learning to financially balance things out here as well with the Temperance, but it still speaks to investing, saving, giving, receiving, work, rest. You know, it's all of that where it's kind of short-term wins, I would say, but not just short-term wins. So what I mean by that is you're getting things that kind of lead up to that short-term wins with the Page of Pentacles, but then it's something more long-term as well when we speak to the World card. So it's more sustainable. So they're not just short terms, but it's like a whole bunch of small wins that lead up to the bigger thing here. Now, I would say that your old thought is, you know, that you need to kind of prove yourself or prove your worth or something like that. And I say that too because we had the Five of Swords. So this is, you know, battles that you take on that, you know, trying to win something, but it never really kind of goes forward. So it's almost like in a constant state of, you know, endless, you know, argument over without any real movement ahead. So what I would say there is these are the thoughts that you want to say to yourself, you know, do you need to prove your worth through constant achievements, or, you know, can you consistently focus on building lasting value? You don't want to chase, you want to cultivate things. So, and I feel like that's where you're headed. You're drawing that success to you in ways versus chasing it. So I feel like your pacing over this next little bit will be kind of 3 months from now, not just in the month of June, but having more success built than what you're working on right now. So over the next 3 months, I feel like this is the time frame. I feel like you start to see more stability. You're going to hear more praise, more inner peace. It's leaving some kind of emotional imprint on you that is more substantial. Is what I would say there, more substantial, because it feels like it's helping to guide your daily motivation in some way. And I say that because the Ace of Cups that initially came out here, the Hierophant is also a very strong, committed card. So the Ace of Cups is opening your heart chakra. It's more of an emotional connection that starts to begin around existing relationships. Something gets renewed. It's more of an authentic relationship or connection. Especially with the Temperance and the Hierophant and the Ace of Cups, we're looking at that being speaking to more of a spiritual contract. So relationships that are rooted with deeper meaning, past life bonds, things of that sort. So there's more healing in that, in all of those connections with the Temperance cards. There's more healing in that dialogue and the way that you communicate. It's also speaking to commitment and shared values. Now, because the Five of Swords does still show up here, again, it's kind of speaking to a no-win situation. You want to avoid power games and passive-aggressive sort of behavior or unspoken resentment, because you want to speak clearly. Let go of, needing to win. That's what this one is here. You want to prioritize harmony over being right, because this is where I feel there's a bit of a struggle. And again, oftentimes the mirror that we see in others, we have to sort of polish within ourselves first before we go ahead. So either way, I feel like you are feeling stronger. I feel like you're feeling sharper, um, with that King of Swords energy there as well. And I feel like you're more sovereign. Like there's more of a sense of, how do I say that? You're feeling like your people pleasing days may be less, you're shedding that. It's less prevalent in this period, because the death card is at the base of all of this. And again, all the cards are pretty happy, so it's nothing of, don't take death as a literal card, it's deep transformation. But it's like an ego death. It's not a disaster. You're releasing the old self-perception, so it no longer serves the mission. It no longer is a part of what you need to do anymore. Because when you get to the Magician and the King of Swords, this is where you're starting to, and below that death card, it should also show you, it does show Empress, and the Ten of Wands is below that. So to me, that shows, mother energy. It can also be female energy, more abundant energy, more good things that are coming for you below that death card, deep transformation. So it's like this is mental clarity, again, with the Magician and all the tools to get there. What version of yourself are you outgrowing? This is really asking yourself those questions. What are the qualities that I bring, and how can I fully bring them to the surface? What do I fear? What am I willing to leave behind? That kind of thing. All those questions also come up, with the Five of Swords energy. But it's also letting go of control, with that Five of Swords, death and temperance, because it's a caution. But it's letting go of control and superiority games with that Five of Swords. Don't waste your mental energy on comparing yourself or being defensive. It's kind of an emotional volatility card of being rigid. The temperance, is really about, balancing yourself. So pace yourself in that energy. There is also that energy of fear of change, uh, when it's near to the Five of Swords. So there could be a bit of a fear of change, letting go of that last identity attachment, but don't resist the transformation here, because this is where, you're also asking your things like, what if I lose control, or, by surrendering to what no longer fits? So you want to make space for the new alignment, for the new energy of who you are. So this is, again, it's sort of an ego death that I see, and this is where you're becoming more sovereign and really moving into that energy. And again, the World card tells me it's like an integration of all of those of your lessons, and really understanding, how to be a more authentic version of yourself. So this is where you could also be becoming more of a master in something, a master of, a truth or an understanding or a spiritual understanding of some sort. So it could also be where, you're learning how to balance things as well, um, even your ambitions. So I would say overall, this is really what you need to get control over, is your thought and your responses, because the King of Swords can show that you do have the ability to pause and assess where you are and respond with wisdom and not reactivity. But the Five of Swords tells me there's still a little bit of that there. The Eight of Pentacles still tells me that, you're still willing to be consistent and master something through discipline. And again, in terms of your relationships, I feel like you want to lead with more emotional, authenticity. That was the Ace of Cups that came through there as well. So a lot of really good energy. You're not your past, you are the architect of each moment. And again, the Ace of Cups, Eight of Pentacles, Page of Pentacles, that's emotional and financial openings there. That's the theme of those cards. So I really feel like this is more along the lines of, a new opportunity or work or something even in love that, is coming in. So stay open, stay grounded. It is something new with small daily steps, something that you have to kind of perfect. Not being perfect, but leading with more of an intention to do better than you did the day before, that kind of thing. So I would say by the second week of June, there's something here about aligning your actions. There's also something with public recognition. And again, it feels like your manifestations pick up and your energy is more of achievement that becomes more visible. So again, I feel like you can celebrate some kind of success here as well. It's good. It's important to take those moments to celebrate it because life moves on pretty fast. So I would still say by the third week, that was where we had the Hierophant energy. And that to me is really where you're testing. There could be a test of integrity because of the Five of Swords, King of Swords. So you'll be challenged kind of emotionally or intellectually, something like that. And I feel like you will be tempted to hold your ground with logic versus and compassion versus, being defensive. So maybe before the confrontation, kind of anchor yourself in some past memory where you did communicate clearly and had a better response and really had a good understanding, or at least create some kind of distance before you respond, like a pause or a breath, something like that. So again, there's a lot of cards here that kind of speak to with the World card, with the Death card. There is definitely some kind of a completion here and a rebirth. So it's a major chapter that you're entering into that's more internal, or external, could be both. But again, I feel like what's unlocking you now is kind of you moving into the next phase of your destiny. So, in summary, I feel your career and finances manifestations are starting to occur through mastery, meaning every day working at something. That's the kind of energy I get there, that you're getting better at it. There's also some kind of recognition for that, and I do feel like you're sharpening your skills. Their relationships, I feel, are still in emotional healing with the Temperance card. But again, there's spiritual depth, especially with the Ace of Cups. And I feel like you have to be aware of ego dynamics. Speak your truth, not your reaction, especially with that Five of Swords. Your self-worth comes up where you're stepping into more of an understanding of how things are, how you really see things now. You're seeing everything much clearer, and there's more of an energy around releasing resistance, I guess is what I would say, and control patterns. You don't, the fear of change can be something that you're sort of struggling with a little bit as well, more so ego death is what I would say there. The obstacle is in around that, around control patterns, releasing what resists your evolution, how you change. So I guess the high points really would be that there's definitely creative inspiration here, spiritual alignment, a lot more visibility for you, and a new cycle that's also coming in. And again, advice is stay balanced. You do have some kind of communication, some kind of small amounts of money that are also coming through, also something through a job that's coming in. But again, for some of you, this might be a job offer, but I still feel like there's something extra or in addition to with that Ace of Cups that's coming in as a blessing to you. So I feel like, again, you're trusting your ability to go forward and you're starting with yourself. And so a lot of good energy here about, you kind of spiritually leading yourself through inner guidance. So that's what I have for you. Career, money, finance as well. Again, as I said, we're still looking up. Again, there's still something that's coming through as far as a possible job. One potential job here that would be, or at least it's external to you, that's no, it's communication about that for those of you that are looking for work. But anyway, that's what I have for you. Keep moving forward and